Hey guys, welcome to another update in my Fallout series. Thank you for all my current subscribers and thank you for all the support I'm currently getting. If you haven't subscribed, maybe consider hitting that little subscribe button. And yeah, so we're currently making really good progress and I like making the videos. So subscribe if you want to get some useful tutorials along the way and also see this project progress. Without further ado, here's the new update. The first thing I started working on was basically just being able to equip items. So quite simply put, I made it so some items can be equipped. So you see I can equip and unequip my damaged slacks. I can also hit spacebar to equip and spacebar to unequip, and also I can just click the label down here. Items that can't be equipped but can be used, obviously just show use instead. And basically at the minute it kind of just gets rid of it out of the inventory. So it doesn't apply any buffs or anything, but you can see our weight down here currently updating. And then obviously items that you can't use, we don't show the label or anything. Alright, I then moved on to equipping weapons and stuff. So it's a little bit more complicated as we actually need to, similar to the apparel to be fair, but we haven't really done third person yet. But we actually need to spawn a game object inside the world, so that the player can actually see what they have equipped. And then later down the line we can actually load some behaviour such as shooting or swinging the bat. But for now we've got the items just spawning in. So see I can equip my SMG here or my baseball bat. And just like the apparel we can just equip and unequip as we want. So there isn't an equipping animation just yet, but there will be. There is an event that fires, but I think at the minute I just do a debug.log. But I don't have an animator and I also don't have a modeler, so these are all just temporary models. So then began work on actually getting the weapon to behave nicely. So I wanted some nice weapon sway. So as you can see I've got some for moving left and right, up and down. So nice and simple, but I think it just makes it feel a bit more natural, as opposed to the weapon sticking to the screen. So I played around quite a bit with this until I got a result that I liked, and I'm quite happy with this result. I then started to move on to actually doing the walking animations. So we got the walking forward, walking back, walking left, and walking right. And combined all together, it all looks quite nice because it makes it look a bit more natural again. So you combine that with the actual movement of the gun, and I think as we're walking around, moving around, I think it looks quite natural. All of this obviously carries on to the baseball bat as well. So we've got smooth movement on the baseball bat, and all of our walking animations on the baseball bat too. Alright, so the next thing was to actually add sprinting animations to the guns and the baseball bat. So quite simply, just a nice little simple sprint, which I'm quite happy with, and obviously translates to the baseball bat as well. So you see we can also sprint with the baseball bat. So yeah, nice and simple. And I also managed to get the jumping animations done. So luckily when I built my controller I made an easy way to tell whether the player is grounded, whether they're falling, and I basically just used those flags, so it was actually quite quick to implement. So I got a nice jumping animation and a landing animation. And obviously when I'm jumping, the sprinting animation stops, and etc. So the falling animation is quite dynamic, so if I jump on here, you can see if I just fall here, it'll play the falling and the landing animation, so it's quite neat. Still have to do the crosshairs, because currently that's I want to be able to show obviously the spread of the weapon and stuff like that. So I think that'll be next on my list. So my last video, 32SS commented just basically asking how I did the scroll Rects and the horizontal tab thing at the top, the sub-tabs. So basically the inventory system, once you're on a tab, is split into three. So we got our sub-tabs, our inventory, and our footer. And basically our sub-tabs, the position X is just calculated depending on which category you have selected. So it's pretty simple, and then it just smooth stamps between them, just to give that nice smooth effect. And then inside the sub-tabs we have each item, and basically their opacity is calculated depending on the currently selected category's index. So if the index is different by 2, it applies this opacity, and if it's different by 1, it applies this opacity. And if it is the current index, then obviously it's the currently selected item, so it just doesn't give it any opacity, just makes it fully opaque. So actually quite simple, quite an easy way to do it. It works pretty well and looks pretty good in my opinion. And then basically our big lists, they are pretty much just in a scroll rect. And then I have an event that fires when you select an item, just so I can change the item visually and also load the selected item stats. And and basically what I've done is I've just created a little function that tells my scroll rect to scroll towards the selected item. So it's all quite simple, but it all works pretty well together. So that's the end of this update. Prepare yourself for the next video because I have a lot of stuff going in the next video. There's a few bits that I was going to put in this update, but I kind of want to put it in with the next one just because it all comes together, and I want you to kind of see it all together. So yeah, stay tuned for the next update, and thank you for watching.